The idea that a woman's no should be understood as a clear lack of interest, regardless of context, including marriage or shared children, touches on a deeper principle: the importance of genuine desire, mutual respect, and emotional authenticity in human relationships. The phrase, "she must be a hell yeah girl," reflects a growing cultural emphasis on enthusiastic consent and wholehearted connection, rather than obligation, pressure, or routine. At its core, a no is a boundary. It is a direct expression of autonomy, signaling that, in that moment, a person does not feel willing, comfortable, or interested. This remains true whether the relationship is new, long-term, or even legally binding. Marriage and parenthood do not erase individuality. They do not grant permanent access to another person's emotional or physical availability. When a woman says no, it should be heard as a complete sentence, not an invitation to persuade, negotiate, or reinterpret. The concept of a hell yeah partner comes from the idea that meaningful relationships thrive on enthusiasm, not mere tolerance. A hell yeah is not just about physical attraction, it represents emotional engagement, desire, and a genuine willingness to be present. In contrast, relationships that rely on obligation, I guess, fine, or reluctant compliance, often erode over time, leading to resentment, distance, and dissatisfaction for both partners. However, applying this idea simplistically can be misleading. In long-term relationships, including marriages with children, human emotions are not always constant. Stress, fatigue, unresolved conflict, or life pressures can temporarily reduce desire or willingness. A no in such situations does not automatically mean the absence of love or attraction. It may signal unmet needs, emotional disconnection, or simply a need for rest. Interpreting every no as total rejection risks overlooking the complexity of real-life relationships. What matters more is the pattern and the underlying dynamic. If no becomes frequent, emotionally distant, or paired with lack of affection and communication, it may indicate deeper issues: loss of connection, unmet expectations, or incompatibility. In such cases, the hell yeah standard becomes less about immediate enthusiasm and more about the overall quality of the relationship. Are both partners still choosing each other willingly? Is there mutual respect, effort, and emotional presence? Healthy relationships require both respect for boundaries and active cultivation of desire. Respect means accepting a no without resentment or pressure. Cultivation means investing in emotional intimacy, communication, trust, and shared experiences that keep the connection alive. A hell yeah is not something that can be demanded. It is something that grows in an environment where both people feel valued, safe, and genuinely wanted. Ultimately, the principle behind the statement is valid but incomplete. Yes, a partner should ideally feel like a hell yes over the long term, chosen freely, not out of duty. But relationships are not static states of constant enthusiasm. They are dynamic, requiring effort, understanding, and patience. A single no does not define the relationship, but how both partners respond to it, and what patterns emerge over time, does. In the end, the healthiest standard is not just hell yeah, in isolated moments, but a relationship where both people, again and again, choose each other with sincerity, respect each other's boundaries, and work to keep that yes alive.
The statement: if a woman says no to a man, that means she's not interested in him, even if they are married and have children. She must be a hell yeah girl blends two distinct ideas: the absolute right to refuse sexual or romantic advances, and the cultural dating heuristic known as fuck yes or no, popularized by Mark Manson, drawing from Derek Sivers' decision-making rule. The first part is straightforward consent. The second is aspirational advice for pursuing high-enthusiasm connections. Applied rigidly to marriage and long-term relationships with children, however, the framing risks oversimplifying complex realities of human desire, duty, biology, and commitment. Consent basics. No always means stop. A direct no to sexual activity must be respected in any context, including marriage. Marital rape is illegal and immoral in modern legal systems. Consent is not implied by a wedding certificate, shared children, or past enthusiasm. A spouse retains bodily autonomy. Coercion, pressure, or guilt-tripping, but we're married, violates this. Surveys and advocacy consistently affirm that relationship status does not erase the need for ongoing, voluntary agreement. Freezing, passivity, or reluctant acquiescence under duress does not equal consent. This principle protects against abuse and upholds human dignity. That said, framing every no as definitive proof of total disinterest ignores nuance. People say no for temporary reasons: fatigue, stress, illness, hormonal shifts, postpartum, perimenopause, low testosterone, emotional disconnection, resentment from unresolved conflicts, or even mismatched libidos without the relationship being fundamentally dead. In long-term partnerships, desire often fluctuates rather than remaining a constant hell yeah. Studies on sexual frequency show declines after the honeymoon phase, especially in the first few years of marriage, with many couples shifting from passionate initiation to responsive or scheduled intimacy. Women on average report desire that is more context-dependent and responsive than spontaneous compared to men. This doesn't make no meaningless. It means communication, empathy, and addressing root causes. Health, emotional labor balance, attraction maintenance matter more than binary declarations.
The hell yeah standard in dating versus marriage. The hell yeah, or fuck yes rule, serves dating well as a filter. Why invest in someone who isn't excited about you? Pursuing lukewarm interest wastes time and breeds one-sided effort. It encourages self-respect and mutual enthusiasm early on when vetting compatibility. Applied to initial attraction or casual encounters, it aligns with avoiding resentment or coercion. Marriage and parenthood change the equation. A wedding and children represent a deeper commitment, not perpetual dating. Long-term relationships involve trade-offs, maintenance, and seasons where passion wanes for both partners. Expecting constant hell yeah enthusiasm for sex, or other intimacies, sets an unrealistic bar that ignores biological and life stage realities. Libido naturally ebbs with age, parenting demands, sleep deprivation, career stress, and hormonal changes. Data on sexless marriages, often defined as fewer than 10 times per year, suggests they affect a notable minority of couples, correlating with dissatisfaction, but not always immediate divorce. Frequency often drops, yet many couples sustain fulfilling bonds through non-sexual intimacy, companionship, and shared purpose. Responsive desire. Research distinguishes spontaneous desire, common early on or more typical in some men, from responsive desire, where arousal builds after emotional closeness or initiation. Insisting on hell yeah up front can dismiss valid pathways to mutual enjoyment. Duty and investment. Marriage historically and practically includes elements of obligation alongside desire. Vows imply working through dry spells. Children add stakes. Dissolving a family over fluctuating attraction carries costs, emotional, financial, developmental for kids. Many enduring marriages feature periods of lower enthusiasm, balanced by commitment, effort, and eventual rekindling. Critics of rigid enthusiastic consent models in committed relationships note that it can pathologize normal variation or turn sex into a performance audit, while no means no prevents harm. Demanding only ecstatic affirmative consent every time risks framing ordinary responsive or dutiful sex as problematic. In practice, healthy couples navigate gray areas through ongoing communication, not courtroom-level checklists. Non-enthusiastic but non-coerced sex happens. The danger lies in pressure turning it coercive, or chronic mismatch signaling deeper incompatibility. When not hell yeah signals, real problems. The statement holds partial truth in extremes. Chronic, unexplained rejection without effort to reconnect, or no, paired with contempt, avoidance, or unilateral withdrawal, often indicates eroding interest, unresolved resentment, or incompatibility. Persistent sexual mismatch is a common divorce factor, alongside lack of commitment, infidelity, and poor communication. Women initiate most divorces in many Western countries, and studies link sexual dissatisfaction to marital instability. If one partner consistently feels undesired, or the other feels constantly rejected, the relationship suffers. In such cases, she must be a hell yeah girl reframes as, both partners should strive for mutual investment, or reconsider the union honestly rather than lingering in quiet desperation. However, applying this as a gotcha, even if married with children, overlooks that marriage isn't perpetual courtship. It is a covenant involving sacrifice, forgiveness, and problem solving. Blanket no, I'm always not interested can justify disengagement or weaponize consent language to avoid accountability for maintenance, emotional attunement, physical health, shared responsibilities. Conversely, demanding sex despite clear disinterest disrespects autonomy.
Consent is non-negotiable. No halts advances immediately, every time. Enthusiasm is ideal. Sex thrives when both feel wanted and present. Yet in marriage, prioritize root cause work over ultimatums. Address health, stress, fairness in domestic load, emotional connection and attraction, date nights, novelty, fitness. Accept seasons. Desire ebbs. Responsive intimacy or temporary lower frequency doesn't doom the relationship if goodwill exists. Communicate explicitly but kindly. I'm not feeling it tonight because beats silent rejection or pressure. Vet rigorously up front. The hell yeah filter shines in dating and partner selection. Choosing someone with aligned values, attachment styles, and libidos reduces later friction. Once committed with children, shift toward collaborative repair. Individual responsibility. Both partners own their desire and effort. Men can improve emotional availability and initiation quality. Women can examine if rejection stems from controllable factors. Raising the bar to constant hell yeah risks fragility in long-haul relationships, where resilience and duty sustain what raw excitement cannot. Lowering it to coerced duty invites resentment and harm. The healthy middle honors consent while embracing that deep bonds involve work, compromise, and imperfect desire, not perpetual fireworks. For couples with children, the calculus includes legacy and stability. Divorce solves some mismatches, but creates others. Ultimately, no protects bodies and boundaries. Hell yeah inspires better matching and maintenance. Treating marriage as dating 2.0 with veto power at every dip misunderstands commitment's nature. Strong relationships cultivate mutual yes through effort, not by declaring lukewarm phases as terminal. Both autonomy and investment matter. Neither should be absolutized at the expense of the other.